All right, so now that we've allowed users to enable link sharing, the next step is going to be disabling link sharing. So this is going to be much more straightforward than enabling. What we're going to do is we're going to open up our disable link sharing route here, and it's going to look similar enough to enable link sharing that we can use this thing as a starting point. So let's paste this in here, and we're going to first of all change the name, of course, to disable link sharing route. And the path for this one is going to be different. It's going to be disable link sharing, right? So notes/node ID/disable link sharing instead of enable link sharing. The method, we're going to leave that as put because, it's just an update to a note. So we'll just leave that the way it is. And the middleware here is going to be the same as well. We're going to verify the user's auth token. We're going to check that the user is verified. And we're going to check to make sure that the user owns the note. All right, so once we've done that, down here inside our route handler, we can get rid of the logic for creating a link sharing hash because we don't need that. And what we're going to do is inside where we're updating the note, we're going to set link sharing enabled to false. And this link sharing hash, we're just going to get rid of it. So what we can do for that, the way that you get rid of a value in MongoDB is by using the unset operator. And whoops, I didn't mean to do that. Let's try that again. There we go. We're going to try $unset. And inside here, we're going to say link sharing hash. And we can just put an empty string there. You can really put any value there because all MongoDB is looking at is the name of this property. So that basically just removes a property from a document in our database. Cool. So now that we've done that, we're going to send back the updated note to the client side, which we're already doing with these 2 lines of code here. So no big concern there. So let's just export this disable link sharing route from our routes index.js. We're going to add that here, disable link sharing route. And then over in our note sharing settings page, we're going to have to add the disable link sharing functionality to the disable button. So we're going to get that from the notes context. We're going to go down here into on disable link sharing, and inside here we're just going to call await disable link sharing with the node ID. Okay, so the last thing we're going to need for this is to go into the notes provider and implement this disable link sharing. This is going to look almost identical to our enable link sharing function, so we can just put it in here and change the URL that we're sending it to. So we're going to be sending this, of course, to disable link sharing, and we're updating the note just like we were before. And that should be it, right? So let's just, we've already added disable link sharing here. Let's try this thing out. So let's make sure, first of all, that everything is running well. There's no errors or anything. It looks like we're good there. So let's go back to our application and try and disable link sharing for this note. And sure enough, we see link sharing is disabled. And if we refresh this thing, we see that it's still there, right? So enabling, disabling, we can see that the hash is refreshed every time the user disables and re-enables, which may well be what we want, right? That will essentially enable users to reset the link sharing for a note if someone that they don't want to have access to the note gets a hold of that link, right? So they'll be able to reset that by just clicking disable and clicking enable and sharing that new URL with everybody that should have access to the note. And this, again, is one of the main benefits of using this link sharing hash thing instead of the note's actual ID, because this is just another unique identifier that we can regenerate as we want, instead of having to change the note's ID, which could potentially cause other things to break in our application, if a user was relying on that note ID. So anyway, we're now able to enable and disable link sharing. And this is currently just making changes in the database. What we're going to have to do next is actually create a page that will allow users to see notes where link sharing has been enabled. So I hope this has been informative for you, and I'd like to thank you for viewing.